Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and talk to you about one of the most effective custom tactics right now to go ahead and get you goals on FIFA 22 Ultimate Team. What's good then, YouTube? Hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video here on our channel. I'm the FIFA Analyst, and today, as I said, we're going to be bringing you a custom tactics and instructions video talking about one of the most effective tactics and ways for you to change your game, bring something new to your game. It might be a formation that you haven't tried before. What is it that we're going ahead and talking about? We're talking about the 4-2-2. Now, it's a formation which I didn't particularly enjoy last year, if I'm honest with you. It didn't really work for me, but this year it's a little bit different in that the cams are a little bit easier to get involved, and having the two strikers up front really does put your opponent on the back foot. You can go ahead and use obviously those 1-2s, those balls in behind, which are really effective, and those driven passes from the wing into the striker's feet. Having that extra man up front makes that very easy and an effective way to look for. It's a little bit different in the 4-2-3-1. The 4-2-3-1 can be a little bit easier to maybe build up and get involved because of that center attacking mid. But having those two strikers, as I said, just gives you a different sort of level. How would this work? When should you use this formation tactic? You can use it as a formation tactic to go from the start of the game. That's absolutely not a problem. Should you wish to use it as, I want to use this to hit on the counter, I want to play possession, however you want to do, you can tweak some things from this and completely get it to suit your play style. Let's go ahead though and jump straight into the tactics and instructions. So here is the team on screen that we have been using with these 4-2-2 custom tactics. We will also talk to you about what sort of players and work rates you're going to want to put into this team should you wish to play this formation. So going ahead and talking about that first of all. Now, the beauty and kind of the way that we're going to look to use this tactic and this instruction, as I said, is we want to try and get this right attacking mid and this left attacking mid involved. When we take a look at the width, you're going to notice where they are sat on the pitch, which is a little bit more narrow, tucked in between the fullback and the centre back to get them involved a little bit more. We want to look for the driven passes to go into the striker's feet, so from the wing into that striker there. Then you can look for these 1-2s between those strikers. One thing that I want to make sure that you do as well is that when you do actually attack the wing with your fullback, be sure to look for a cross or the driven pass across the face of goal. We did a video the other day talking about the byline drive, and this makes it a lot easier to do when you have two strikers because there's two men inside the box rather than an out-and-out striker and then that centre attacking mid making that run as well. Now, the DM's role that you have on here, the one thing that I would recommend to have is one centre defensive mid who has medium high work rates. That means that they're going to be your out-and-out centre defensive mid, willing to stay back, break up the counter attacks and so on. Now, your other defensive mid, we'll look at the instructions shortly, can be maybe high on the work rate or could be high medium. You can have them to go forward a little bit if you wanted to. We're going to be looking at this custom tactic instruction as a way for you to trigger runs yourself, for you to get these defensive mids involved should you wish to. This way, it's going to give us soundness at the back, safety, make sure that we're not getting torn open. But should you wish to add an extra player into your attack, you can do that. What sort of role do the fullbacks play for us? Quite a beautiful one, actually. I love fullbacks on FIFA 22 and just FIFA in general. I think you really want to make sure that you get them involved. We do have them on the overlap instruction, which we'll take a look at in a minute. They are going to be stay back while attacking, so they don't push forward on their own accord, right? Again, should you wish to get these involved, you're more than welcome to. You just have to trigger the runs manually or carry the ball with them. When they do get forward, then they're going to keep to the touchline. They're going to keep that width. Because the way we have these guys set up, who are going to be slightly more tucked in. Again, we'll touch on that in a minute. We want to make sure we've got a little bit more width available, and that's where those fullbacks will aid that in that particular one for us. Ladies, gentlemen, just a quick one. Say if you're enjoying the video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We stream over on Twitch, twitch.tv/FIFA Analyst, a link in the description for that. Come on over, say hello there, and let's get back to the video. So that's how kind of we will have the team set up and the work rates. For the attacking mids, I'd recommend high, medium on their work rates, high attacking, medium defensive, because they are going to be there more as an attacking player. If you look at my 4-2-3-1 that we uploaded a few weeks ago, we had to stay back. We had to come back on defense, on these attacking mids. So what they would do is they would come back and help out. So they're going to be there just as a nuisance, really, just to kind of sit deep and have a frustration for the opponent. On this particular tactic, we're actually going to have these on stay forward. So they're going to be staying up the pitch at all times. So having them on that high attacking work rate, medium defensive is going to be better for you. If they do have high, don't worry too much. Just know that they will sometimes drop back on their own accord and come in to get into there. Now let's go ahead and talk about the actual custom tactics for you. Defensive style. Defensive style, because this is a tactic that you can use from minute one, we go balanced on here. What does this do? So the blue team is a team that have the ball, right? The yellow team is us, which you can see here. We want our defensive style to be balanced. This means that they will keep a very neutral shape. They won't go and try and press the opponent, but the AI won't step up for you. They won't try and intercept. They won't be aggressive. They're going to maintain being goal side. They just don't want to give up any gaps in behind. If you go on, say, press on heavy touch, for example, like you can see here, the blue team have the ball. Us, as the yellow team, we're going to be really aggressive. If the opponent takes a heavy touch, the AI will press for you. Some of you guys put in the comment section all the time, Analyst, my team keeps pulling team shape out, but it's not me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. This can be an answer to it. You may be running pressure on heavy touch, press on possession loss when you don't need to. Now, if you are using this formation throughout the whole of your game and you are losing 2-1, do go and change this defensive style to constant pressure, press on possession loss, press on heavy touch, whatever you want. Press on heavy touch won't be as aggressive. Press on possession loss is more aggressive, and constant pressure is the most aggressive tactic that you can have in that defensive style. All right. So that's what we go on there. We go completely balanced. If you want to press, it then becomes down to you as the player, the manual player, using second man press, using the ability to cut passing lanes. Again, we've done videos on that should you wish to go ahead and watch. Now, for the width, what do we want here? This is actually the lowest width that I've gone on FIFA 22 so far. And what this is going to do is it's really going to compact you, make you really narrow, and you're going to give up the wings. So you're going to go, right, you can have the ball down here. I've got no problem with you having the ball down here. That's absolutely not an issue. What we are then going to do, though, is make sure that we don't allow the opponent into this area, into the byline drive, something that we touch on in previous videos and talk about you a lot, because that's really strong on FIFA 22. So allow them to have the ball here. That's not an issue. Just don't let them get here. All right, so that's where you then need to manually defend with the fullbacks and stop them from getting into there. But you can see how in this particular width that we've got on the defensive width, the right back and left back are tucked in really narrow. They're essentially in a centre back position. The defensive mids obviously are in their defensive mid positions. But look where the Lamb and the Ram are. Even they tuck in. They're more in the centre. That means that they can go ahead and press their centre defensive mid should they pick the ball up and whatnot. It just makes it really difficult for the opponent to break through. Really, really hard. Now, depth, how do we want this? This is all personal preference. If you've not really got a great defensive line, so let's say you're running someone who's maybe a little bit slow, you might want to go a little bit lower on the depth. If you've got a really quick defensive line and you want to go higher, you can do. This is all personal preference on how you want it. How does depth play a part? Please remember this. Depth doesn't affect when you have the ball. Your team will sit on the halfway line regardless. Depth is how quick your team will drop back, essentially. How do they want to hold their line when the opponent has the ball? If the opponent picks the ball up on their 18-yard box over here, where and how quickly do we want our defensive line to drop? If you hold a higher line, so let's say you hold 70 depth, it might hold here when they have the ball on the 18-yard box. If you have it on 10, when they have the ball on the 18-yard box, your defenders might already be on the way to their 18-yard. They might already be sat next to the goalkeeper having a cup of tea with him. So just remember that. We actually go for 53 here. We don't want to go too deep with 50, and we don't want to go too high with 55, 60. 53 just seemed to be that sweet spot for us, which worked really, really well. So that's what we go for on there. For the build-up play, this is a very neutral formation. It's very balanced, and we go for balanced, funnily enough. When you go for, say, fast builder, what happens is, again, our team in yellow, they all run forward. They all want to get forward. They all want to go, which when you're being pressed can be quite hard to play out of. When you go long ball, it means that your strikers are looking in behind. If you've got an Mbappe, feel free to go long ball. You can go for that. That's not an issue if you like to go for the balls in behind. Should you wish to get a best of everything and maybe rely on yourself to trigger runs, just go for balance. It's the best of everything, in my opinion. In a way, though, our chance creation being on forward runs does also take over on that. So chance creation comes into play when we get into the opponent's half. Forward runs is encouraging your right attacking mid, your left attacking mid, and your two strikers to make runs in behind, to give yourself options. This tactic pushes players forward deep into the attacking areas, but if you lose possession of the ball, you could find yourself open for the counter-attack. And we're going to talk about our instructions in just a second on how that plays a part to kind of combat this. So your attacking players will make these forward runs and will be aggressive and try and show for you. If you want, say if you're sat here on the edge with your DM and you want the ball and you want to play it into someone who's not available, make sure you tap the R1 button on PlayStation, RB on Xbox, with your left stick pointing the direction of the player, and that will bring that player short to you. And that's a way to combat forward runs if sometimes you just haven't got a pass on that you don't like. In terms of our attacking width, this is actually very key and something that you need to take away from today. We actually go for on our attacking width 47, and the reason for this is that we want it to be a little bit more narrow. You know, when I said at the start, the 4-2-2 I didn't enjoy last year, I really struggled to get the center attacking, well, the right attacking mid, left attacking mid involved. This has actually helped me do this. So what this will do is if you take a look at it, you can actually see where our attacking width and how our players sit in that little bit deeper. So they're actually going to sit almost in between the left back and the centre back, the right back and the centre back. So a little bit more narrow. So when they do make these forward runs, they're not going to run into the full back, they're not going to run into the centre back. They're going to run in to the gap in between them and make that run directly in behind. It works really well and something that you can look to use and get into your game. Really, really great this year. Really enjoyed it. Players in box. I'm quite a possession-based player. I don't like sending too many men forward unnecessarily. So we actually go very neutral here on 3 players in box. It's just so we don't get caught on the counter as much. When you go really, really high, you just leave yourself open in the middle of the park. The battle in the middle of the park then is just lost and it's very difficult. For our 2 strikers, we do go stay forward on them both. Key thing, only reason why I go stay forward on them both and not getting behind on one is because I used Fekir and I used Morientes. If you've got an Mbappe and a Fekir or a Gabriel Jesus or a Rashford, someone that's quick, you know, that can really break the defensive line, feel free to go onto the attacking runs here and put them on getting behind. Just one of them though. If that happens and you find that you've just constantly got the runner, bring it back to balance. The way you can get around this is that if you pick the ball up, say with Pogba here, and you actually want to look for this over the top through ball with your left striker, tap the L1 button, LB on Xbox, facing that Fekir, and he will then run in behind. That's your way round that if you are on balance, like I was just on stay forward. Stay forward is key because if you don't put him on stay forward, your strikers sit so deep and it's horrible. Stay forward on the right attacking mid and left attacking mid and get into the box for cross. What this means is that A, you're going to be available on the counter. Always look for these guys for the out ball. If you pick the ball up with the DM, your right back, look for your attacking mid as the out ball for you. And if, say, Politano's running down the line and he's looking to get that ball into the back stick or into that man there, don't be afraid to cross it and look for that man because he's going to be there. You can even go for the driven pass across the face of goal. There's plenty of ways that you can get that right attacking mid and left attacking mid involved on this particular formation. The right centre defensive mid is on cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking, and cover centre. This in itself really just allows you to be very safe at the back. This is your centre defensive mid. This is your Kantes, your Allens, your Tuchmachenis, your Sakirias, whoever you've got in that role. Someone proper defensive minded who's going to intercept the ball. I have Marcus Llorente and Pogba. Not the great for this particular partnership, but Marcus Llorente certainly did the job here. Cover centre because we want him to protect these 2 centre backs. If you have to change to your 2 centre backs, he's not done his job properly as a general rule of thumb. Now, our left centre defensive mid is also on stay back while attacking cover centre, but isn't on cut passing lanes. He's just unbalanced, right? What we want here is, again, to be safe at the back. But if you want to get this more attacking-minded DM involved, bring him up yourself. Trigger him on runs yourself. Get him forward. There was an example at the start of the video where we saw Pogba. You know, we triggered a run and then we manually switched to him and pulled him into the box and he manages to go ahead and get a header. You can use them in that way, all right? And when it comes to the fullback, stay back while attacking, overlap, we've already discussed this. We want to make sure that they're getting the chalk on their boots from running the touchline. Centre-backs, completely back, you know, don't touch them, just leave them on their basic instructions. And then I go for comes across his sweeper keeper. I think this is crucial this year. Over the top through balls are very prominent, are very popular. Comes across his sweeper keeper really helps you have that keeper come out, be quick off their line, win the ball, take the pressure off you in the defender. Go for this should you feel comfortable with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the 4-2-2 custom tactics that is really effective right now with the runs in behind, with the 1-2s, and with those driven passes. It's a very strong formation. It's very good on the counter. It's very good in the possession. The only thing you may feel that you lack a little bit is that center attacking mid. But if you like the 4-4-2, for example, you will really like this 4-2-2. So do let me know if you guys use it and if you enjoyed it. If you have any recommendations, any other formations to try, or any questions, please do pop them down below. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.